Oh yeah, we're back. This is the Gentleman's Talk podcast. Today we have a beautiful guest. I feel like I've been running down this lane for like the last 5 days, but it's for a great cause. But shout out to, introduce yourself. Who are you?
Hello, my name is Kamora Harrington. I am the founder and visionary of Kamora's Cultural Corner.
Shout out to that.
I created the Sterling Street Sanctuary Nature Reserve, and I am Minnie Lee's granddaughter and John's daughter.
Shout out to that. I appreciate Kamora really giving me like 45 minutes or an hour of her time to really like sit down, and we're going to talk about different topics on the podcast, and then off the camera, me and her going to build regardless, because she's definitely a very powerful person, and you know I respect what she does, and I've been observing her for a long time, and shout out to King and Grim, because people like them put me in a circle of Kamora, so I don't want to disregard that, even if we're going on different directions. But shout out to those people, and shout out to Kamora. So give a little background on who you are, Kamora.
Let's see, so who am I? The fun, if you ask for it, you can edit this as you need to.
Of course.
But I was born here in Hartford in 1971, right?
Okay.
And so my father, Black man, child of the Great Migration, so his parents and his aunts, uncles, all of them moved up from Opelika, Alabama together.
Oh, wow.
Up to Bristol, right?
Okay.
Bristol, Connecticut. So there's, shout out to Redeemers AME Zion Church. That's the church that welcomes everyone. And when you look at my old family photos, there's a living room that when you look at other Black people from that area, they lived in that living room too, because everyone came through that.
Wow.
I can't remember the name, I think it was an Italian man, but an Italian man that owned like a 2-family house on Lincoln Street, and everyone went through there, right? And that is a very important part of who I am. Because I am the child of what came before me.
Right.
And I'm here to help herald in what comes next. I'm not here to do the work of what comes next, right?
Makes sense.
And so as we think about this, like you can say, yeah, it's so great that I'm here with you. I need you because my work, like, I come from hip hop, right? So the 80s and all, right?
Right.
And so it's a whole lot of fun. Believe it or not, there's a lot of consciousness back then.
I believe it.
And many of us thought that we were heralding in the revolution.
That makes sense.
And our mindset in many ways still was stuck in that revolutionary place of our parents, the Panthers, you know, like Public Enemy. So the FOI, yes, the FOI, but then there was the, what was it, with Professor Griff with the NOI, with the Public Enemy and such. So we understood that we were preparing for this revolution that was probably going to be armed, and we were going to stand like South Africa, they were doing all this stuff, right? But we were wrong, because that's not what we are.
No.
And we're now at this space where it's a revolution of the mind, body, and spirit to push and change, right? And I'm not saying, like, please understand, I am not of a non-violent space, right? So I completely believe that by any means necessary. And
you ain't the only one.
Dude. And my job now is to help, is to make sure that the foundation is right, so that the generations coming after me that are doing the work and that are going to do it authentically and right, that they've got the foundation, they're prepared to do it.
That's very respectable. Shout out to Kamora on that one. If you have been incarcerated, give us an incarcerated story for those that have been incarcerated, and if you have been, if you are in that situation, how would you navigate yourself out of that predicament if you end up in that situation from your perspective?
Okay, so the straight off, and anyone who's incarcerated or been incarcerated, listening to this or watching it, please don't hear the disrespect in this, but the first thing I've got to say is that I know that I would die if I was incarcerated.
You were the only one.
I have done all the interesting, weird things, and I've been in lockup. And so the closest to incarcerated I've been
locked up too, so I understand that, and it was definitely different.
Yeah. So one night in lockup in no way counts as anything, but the damage to my soul in that space is, if you're in there, I mean, hold on to your soul and know that pause is there, right? Like, because you are on pause, and it can be, Angela Davis, who read all of the folks who've been, and all of them, right? And so they're going to catch us, and they're going to work to break us. That's what it is. Like,
talk about it.
Those of us who end up incarcerated, if you can follow the rules of this sick shit, you will be successful.
Talk about it.
And there are places where I sound crazy to some people because I see folks who appear to be very successful, and I'm sad because they're broken, right? And that they've lost soul. And there's a bunch of us who end up incarcerated, and sometimes I just kind of shake my head and laugh and be like, dude, I'm sorry you're real. Like, I'm so sorry that they caught you and locked you up, but there's a beauty in that. So in order for you to be who you are, there's going to be places where they're going to catch you and you're going to be on pause. So at that point, you're on pause. They didn't turn you off. Don't allow them to break you in that space. Don't allow them to let you know that you are subhuman. And this is where I can't exist in some spaces. All their wonderful, make you better to be successful in the world opportunities that they offer you, take them and know that many of them will destroy you when you get out, right? Because
so before you, not to elaborate on that, so you said most opportunities. I feel as me just not fully from Hartford and being from Hartford in New York and being through the system, but because of certain of my certain experiences through my family. When I say through the system, being in mental institutional programs, seeing padded walls, being like it's the same thing as a prison. It's just an insane place where the issues are just probably about the same. So as me seeing it from that, and then being at the age I am, just going through that, it just makes me feel like, you know, it's really easy to get jammed up in that web, and if you don't really have, it's not even about having support. If you don't have a legit plan to navigate, to just navigate what you want to become, or what you want to have, because like material stuff, like most of the material stuff you can't take with you. So it's really like you talk to me like on a personal level, like we build on the phone, like we do talk, and I'm starting to blow you up a lot more. But it's like you was like you have to save your soul, because some of this stuff like it might look nice, it might look shiny, it might look, you know, present and gold, but it might not be meant for you.
And a lot of it's there to remind you of that, right? Like, we shouldn't not want beautiful things. Like, I want beautiful things. It's nice to have beautiful things. It's nice to have these things. And the ways that they're created and the ways that are created for us to attain them take us off our path. So, like, again, you know, one of the things I know I said to you that I feel everyone needs to hold on is, if you serve yourself, you will never serve your purpose. So there are folks out here who will be like, yo, get on, yo, like I got this way, you know, you're gonna get this, you're gonna buy these 8 houses, and then you're gonna be able to put other people into it. Okay, that sounds good. But in only serving yourself, and it's not gonna cycle down, right? But if you identify what your purpose on this earth is, right? So if this is a piece of your purpose, right? Yep. When you identify your purpose and you serve that, you'll realize like there'll be times when you're embarrassed with how incredibly selfish it can appear, because you're serving yourself again, because you're serving what you're on this earth to do. None of us are here to serve self and build walls around ourselves so that other people can look at us and know that we're great.
You're going to serve your purpose.
Yeah,
and some people forget that. And I ain't gonna lie, dealing with certain circumstances and being around certain individuals, I almost fell into those equations until I like the light is turned on, and we'll leave it at that.
It's built for that. It's built to make you do that.
Do you know who the 44th president is? Never gonna test some of your knowledge. I want to see where you at.
So we're talking about Obama, right? 44.
That's what we're talking about. I'm asking you 44.
Yes.
That's the correct answer.
Okay.
Because you're dealing with the urban network, and this is a mentorship program, so I'm happy that you did pay attention, because I haven't heard the craziest answers on the podcast. So we're gonna definitely let you subscribe, and when you go in your spare time, check out some of the conversations.
Oh wait, so you're talking to incarcerated folks too, right?
Well, we're talking about all types of people.
Okay, because I gotta say, because for many people they'll understand that I said 44 is right? But for other folks, it was Bush 1, because there's some other pre-Bush or pre-Washington. So depending on what tract of American history you understand, there may have been 2 presidents before George Washington. So we might.
Yeah, you right, though. You made it like that because a lot of people didn't.
We ain't gonna do our math today. Don't worry. We're not gonna do 4 plus 4 get 8. We're not gonna go down that hole.
It's good information. Shout out to Kamora. So we're gonna tap into another topic. I don't know if she's familiar with it, but we're gonna talk about it anyways. Keefe D was a person that was allegedly involved with the Tupac murder, and he was allegedly the one that gave a legal gun to his nephew. Was named Orlando Lane. He gave him a legal gun to take out Tupac after the little altercation they had at the casino. What is your opinion on people giving up illegal firearms? Or you have no opinion on that?
I've got a lot of opinions. I've got long opinions. I got really long opinions. And I've got a basis for an opinion as a story that I'll share with you off here. And
give the audience and the listeners something to talk about people giving out illegal firearms after having altercations at casinos or at clubs or
we need to
gas
understand,
stations.
dude. We've got living in a system that's so fucking evil and corrupt that all of us feel like we need to live in corrupt ways in order to get our needs met is horrible. And if we're using illegal guns to kill each other, then we're not in an okay place, right? I've got lots of feelings about the ownership of guns, and I believe that as Americans we should be owning guns. And I've got issues like, I come from old black power stuff, right? If the government knows how many guns that you have in your home, then when they come to your home, they're gonna take all your guns, right? So I come from a world where when the MOVE bombing happens, that was front and present. If you're in Hartford, you know Pharaoh's house used to be downtown. And that was, you had black folks letting black folks knowing that they were out to get us. So, do we have the right to bear arms? Yes. Read The Spook Who Sat by the Door. Don't watch the movie, read the book. Should we be armed? Should we know how to use our guns? Yes. Should we respect them? Should our children know how to care for them? Yes. And should we be out here willy-nilly Wild West just like having a great time creating our own world, murdering each other? No. Not in any way. And there's no defense of that.
I respect your opinion because you got really deep on that, Kamora. Because I had a lot of people opinions. Some people say some interesting topics. I like to just sit there and observe as we build because I always want to hear what their perspective is. Because as everybody, I do believe you should bear arms. I just feel like you should be able to protect who your loved ones, your people that you're close to by any means necessary. By the end of the day, it's only if you're in a situation and if you can navigate the situation without anybody dying because we really don't want us to die. If you can, just from my perspective, if you can navigate it and talk it out because you see it on the day or fight it out or whatever, that's why they have sports boxing. Like if it's that deep, like
yes, like
fight it out. At least you know you won't die. Or you might be in the hospital for a day. Get gloves. Like they should be having like programs like that for like people that are up there if it's that deep. If you have that much anger and you want to hurt somebody or from my opinion in Hartford, Connecticut, they need to have those type of programs.
And it needs to be respected, like that for real. And then again, everything I talk about, I'm gonna talk about energy and community, right?
Totally.
And if we gotta bang it out, then we gotta bang it out, and then we need to learn how to lose graciously and how to win without lording it over each other. And I'm not trying to sound like an old school 70s dude talking about like using knives, right? But there's a disconnect. If my way of might and right is a gun and I can blast you and blow you, we're not moving forward. So I'm not saying that the anger and the emotion and the passion, no, don't pretend that that's not there. But if our way of dealing with it is to murder that which offends us, then we are not, and I like to believe that we're supposed to be better than that. Read Octavia Butler. Spiritually, we're supposed to be better than that.
Very true. We're going to tap into the next topic on the Gentleman's Talk podcast. P. Diddy said in 1996, 1997, not saying what's going on with P. Diddy nowadays, he didn't care if Big or Tupac died. Big made him a millionaire, and Tupac, P. Diddy wanted to sign before Tupac got incarcerated for the statutory rape situation dealing with the wrong crowd. What is your opinion on P. Diddy's words on that? Or do you think he reached for these souls as that's why his empire is falling right nowadays?
I am sitting, watching, feeling right now, and definitely reflecting on all of that. So at that time, when P. Diddy was giving us all that, we were listening to all the best and the brightest of us who were learning how to step into this sick whiteness, saying, I didn't sell out, I bought in. I didn't sell out, I bought in. I didn't sell out, I bought in. And I think right now we need to see the ends, the means, all this good stuff. If you are praising the dollar and if you're running after the dollar, right? And the thing that we need to where Puff Daddy was so incredibly irresponsible, especially once he got money and the luxury but the ease of money. We don't want to have more money than everyone else. We want to have the ease of life, right? We want to have comfortable living situations. We want to know that our children are taken care of. That's what we want. And having the luxury of having all the money, and again, corrupt, we can go down all of the ways that P. Diddy was given to us. And we can talk about rituals. We can talk about not having Tupac right now when we need Tupac, right? We can talk about not having Biggie right now.
You said that, I see what Tupac above my head. And it's crazy that I'm out here doing because Tupac was a Black Panther. Not to sway off from his hobby, but he's one. I feel, in my opinion, even though a lot of people don't know, Tupac is originally from Jersey, even though he got signed to Death Row. And that's why him and Big used to have their own little confrontations, but that's a whole other topic. But you know, as me being a I feel like my family, since I'm a little bit from New York, a little bit from Hartford, I feel like I got that in me, like to just push the message the way it needs to be given for the right reasons, in my perspective. I don't know. I don't know if I give those vibes, but I really enjoy when I do this, like, because they don't have deep conversations like this. Like, after you leave high school, everybody talk about bull. What they do on the weekends, jobs that really don't matter, even though you have to pay your bill, and how you can scheme on another girl, how you want a girl, or you like a person, or whatever y'all doing. Just keep a couple dollars in your pockets, like you said. It's like you can't take none of that, like. What are you leaving out here in this earth, like your message? But not to sway off from that. I'll apologize.
No, because like they are on that one. We continue to miss. It's like as we're going through the Diddy stuff right now. Like I was on the phone with that from when you came up in here. How do we make sure that the right conversation happens and it's not just the crazy stuff, right? So as everyone's trying to figure out like who killed Biggie and also why were they killed? You know, like someone killed him, and we can talk about rap. We can talk about all that dumb shit. But could that possibly be Clive Davis's necessary story so that black unity can't happen, right?
It could be true.
And again, like I have to continue to put myself in age space and Public Enemy. So I'm sorry, Chuck D, you're going to keep getting the shout out.
Shout out to Chuck D,
right? Because we had black consciousness happening, right? So the O1W, again, Public Enemy giving us what they did. Eric B. and Rakim giving us what they did. You know, like just hanging out with regular dumbass niggas on the app, and we've got our Africa patch on because we're not wearing diamonds because of our brothers and sisters in South Africa, right? If that's what we've got, then how come we end up with other stuff that's just purely shit and trash? And how come those who are still giving us, like, Biggie's messages of upliftment to us were beautiful. Like, you can't tell me, like, you can give me all the anthems, but you can't tell me that Juicy is not a black power anthem, right? And that's who's got to go. And then we're wrapped up in not the why were they killed, but who killed them, and it takes us into the gospel and drama.
But then it took over like 30 years. It took over 30 years to figure out who even got to they don't even know the information. And you know, I done heard all different types of people come on the podcast and give me their own perspectives, but I think Kamora said
Vlad thinks he knows.
You know, Vlad thinks he knows everything. Vlad, because he works with everything, so he goes. You know, and I appreciate she's the only one that came on that know who Vlad is. And it's just amazing to me because we have these cell phones and we watch everything that's except the stuff that can actually, you know, give us intelligence and build up your brain. Like
we need to watch Bill Maher. We need to watch Jaguar. We need to listen. We need to
educate your brain.
It's truth. And then coming from an Afrocentric perspective, right? I'm not trying to change anyone's religion. I'm not trying to tell anyone to practice Ifa or anything like that, right? But Alegua, Brer Rabbit, the trickster, know that we get truth through lies. Know that they're going to do what they're going to do. We're going to be given all of the horrible stuff.
It's true.
And there's truth within lies.
It's true.
I talk about Public Enemy. I'm